Now, once you have a data set created in DVAAPBase, the next step is to import your data. In a prior video, we looked at the formatting requirements for all import files into DVAAPBase. It's vitally important that you get your data files into the correct format with the correct headings and the correct types of data in each field to provide a smooth, error-free import. If you've not yet looked at the tutorial video on setting up your data import files, definitely look at that in advance before performing the next step. So with your data set open, you can go to the next step, which, as you can see at the top of the screen, the next step after preparing your data set is to import data. You can go to that next step either by directly clicking on the links here or using the next button here on the lower right. I'll just click on the next button. That takes me to the import data step. On the import data step, you have some information here about how to import the data, a big import data button, and a dashboard here showing how much data is imported for each type of file. At this point, I just have my workforce imported into this database, and I have 1,000 employees in my workforce data. So I'll do an applicant data import, demonstrate that. You'll see the import process is fairly simple. If you have your data files set up correctly, it goes very quickly. So I click import data. Now these are all the different types of import files that can be brought into DVAAPBase. I'm going to be bringing in my applicant data, so I select the applicants and I click Start Import. Now I give the standard file selection dialog box where I can locate my files that I want to import. So these are all my CSV files that I've prepared in advance from my HRIS system. So my applicant file is right here. I click Open. Now, in that just a couple seconds there, it imported all 1,000 applicant records. Now, the reason it can do that so quickly is primarily because of the work that we've done ahead of time in making sure our file is correctly formatted. We set the headers for each field correctly and ensured that we had the correct type of data in each field. We didn't have any data fields that were too long, didn't have improperly formatted data, so the import goes very quickly. Now let me show you what would happen if I did have an improperly formatted file or had some problems in my file. Now if I do a workforce import, one of the things that you'll notice is since I already have workforce data in this file, it's going to ask me what I want to do with the existing data. I can either add the file that I'm about to import to the existing workforce data, or I can overwrite the data that's already in the data set with this new data coming in. If you click Add, it will add any new data that's in that file to the existing data. And if you have employees in the incoming file that have the same employee ID as an existing record, it will update that data with the changes. Overwrite will remove all of the existing records and simply import the new file as the only workforce data. So I'm going to do an overwrite, and it confirms, are you really sure you want to overwrite the data? Because it cannot be undone. I say, yes, I do. So I have another file here I have some similar data files here to import, but these have some data errors in them. So I'm going to import the workforce file here, and this does have a couple issues in it. So I'll open that file, and it immediately finds that there are formatting errors found in the import file, and it shows me that it's put a log describing what errors were found in the file at this location. It's in my CSV exports folder that I've set in my settings, and the file there is called import error log with today's date. So now let me open up that file for you, and we'll take a look at it. So here is the log file that was created describing what issues there were in my file. Let me make the font here a little larger so you can see it a little bit easier. So it describes where each file error occurred. This indicates that the field sex on line 18 exceeds the maximum length of 1. The race field on line 32 exceeds the maximum length of 3, and so forth. So this lets you go directly into your file, locate the exact line on which the problem was recorded, and correct it. And then you can import the file, and it should succeed at that point. So since I had an error in my file, the existing error records are still in place, no overwrite took place, and I can go ahead and correct those file errors and import that data a second time. The same process is used to import all of the other files to bring all the data into your data set.